I got back into therapy. Anybody in therapy? Mostly women. That's the problem. It's very hard to stay in therapy. My old therapist told me that when I get close to people, I have a tendency to self-sabotage. And I thought that was bullshit, so I ghosted her. And then I finally went back because I finally dated enough people who all gave me the exact same feedback about my shitty personality. You know that romantic quota you hit where you're like, uh-oh, might be me. Oh, the reviews are in and they are unanimous. That's a bummer. So after a really bad breakup a few years ago, I finally took a long, hard look at myself and said, okay, Taylor, 5 out of 5 dudes all think that in fights, you behave like a raccoon trapped in a trash bag. So maybe it's time to get some Klonopin or a rabies shot. I am fully medicated now. Anybody else? Antidepressants? Medication? Yeah. Nice. What are we on? Shout it out. Zoloft, Lexapro. Ooh. Look at us, gang's all here. Oh my God. I'm also on something. I would never say what. That's very personal, but... No, I'm kidding. I'm on a few things. I am on Klonopin as needed for panic attacks. I'm so glad I have Klonopin now, because before I had medication for it, I would have panic attacks right when I had to be somewhere, which is the worst time to get them, because then you just have to pinch the panic attack off like a shit you don't have time to take. You know what I mean? When you're like, okay, I got 60% of that out of my system. I'm not done, but I gotta go to work. I will get to the other 40 later, or I'll finish in the big stall at lunch if no one's in there. I got put on something else for sleep because I have night terrors. There's no fun, casual way to say that. Wake up screaming. And these sleeping time pills I got are great. They don't stop the nightmares, but they do hold you down while they're happening. Which sounds bad, but before I'd wake up in the middle, so afraid, and now I stay asleep until the nightmare's natural conclusion, which provides you with some closure. You're like, oh, he stabs me at the end. Okay, plot twist, M. Nightmare Shyamalan. I just don't want to be somebody who has kids before I'm ready to have them. I have a friend who told me in the next year she either wants to get a dog or have a baby. I'm like, if you think those are the same thing, you are not ready for either one. A dog or a baby? That's like saying, yeah, I'm either going to get a skateboard or my pilot's license. It's whatever I have time for. It is insane to me how easy it is to have and keep a baby. Like, if you get your appendix removed, they won't let you take it home. But if you have a baby, they're just like, here, you drop this. And you know there are days at the hospital, nurses look at each other like, are we going to let this happen? They both have neck tattoos. One says fuck, one says babies. Either way they stand, it's bad news. Really? This is fine. This is fine with you. What were you going to name her? Big Red after your truck. Yeah, we got to do something. If you want to adopt a kid, you have to jump through so many hoops. But if you just have one, they're like, that's yours forever. No questions asked? That's insane. There's no exit interview on the way out of the hospital to make sure you're okay. Just like, hey, before we hand you a baby forever, can you put this metal bowl in the microwave for me? Some of us not clapping, I encourage you to go home and try that. Nobody tell them. I have a friend who has a 7-year-old, and she shouldn't. And she just bought him an iPhone. I'm like, for what? She's like, it's for protection. I'm like, get him a sword. You're a terrible mother. I said, do you punish this little prince? And she goes, yes. As a matter of fact, sometimes I will take away that iPhone for a whole week and make him use a flip phone. Yeah, a flip phone's a punishment now. All over the United States, there are little kids going, no! Oh, I can play. It's Snake! That is not a punishment. Do you want to hear a real punishment? When I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to walk to school in the morning with my friends because my dad said I'd get abducted. But then anytime I forgot to do a chore, he would make me walk home from school alone, as if to say, you don't want to do your dishes? Well, we don't care if you disappear this week. That's a punishment. That's why I'm up here. But I was trying to understand my friend's parenting style because I don't have kids because I'm responsible. And I said, have you thought about alternative punishments? And she goes, like what? I said, I don't know, chores, grounding, spanking. She's like, oh! I'm like, what, is he behind me? Did he hear? Where is he? You got eyes on him? She's like, I can't believe you suggested I spank my child. I said, whoa. Nobody suggested that. I don't believe in spanking, but I did get spanked. So there's a little bitter part of me for a while that was like, they're not going to have it better than me, that I had to work through in therapy. And I've done that work, and I wasn't sure if you had. It was just a question. Also, why are you acting like I invented spanking? I didn't come in here like, you know what would be good? Like, we both got spanked. What are you talking about? I got spanked growing up. Did you guys get spanked? Yeah. Do you feel fine? I feel fine. 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 If we keep saying it, will we be fine? Maybe. You know, every 3 years, you're like, was I abused? Let's not ruin Christmas. Have you guys realized your parents messed you up yet? Have you found that stray dent in your head? You're like, what happened there? They're like, we did our best. That's what happened there. You were slippery, so. Yeah, this happened as adults. You realize your parents messed you up based on how other people react to stories about your childhood. Stories you thought were fine, because when you're a kid, you're stupid. You're just like, everybody gets tied in the yard. Happy 4th of July. Fast forward 10 years, you're at a work party. Everyone's going around swapping stories. Like, yeah, my mom was crazy. She used to make us take our shoes off in the house. And you're like, oh my God, I know. We wore muzzles at night. What happened? Why'd everyone get sad? We could wear them on the carpet. It wasn't like her thing. But my friend was very offended, and I felt terrible. And I said, I'm very sorry. And she said, you know what, Taylor? I'm never going to spank my kid. Our parents shouldn't have spanked us either. Spanking is the same as hitting. And I was like, okay, back up. There was a huge difference between what my parents did and hitting. Location, location, location. They never spanked me in the face. There's stuff in my face. People can see that, all right? There was nothing in my butt except justice for my parents. I got spanked so much growing up, I thought that's what your butt was for. I thought God made the first kid and was like, I better add some fat somewhere in case this starts mouthing off at Olive Garden. My biggest issue with church wasn't that they wanted us to save people. It's that they wouldn't let you make a good point, right? Anytime you were growing up in church, you were like, well, you have to admit, it was pretty messed up when God did this in the Bible. They'd be like, well, that was the Old Testament, you know? That was before God stopped drinking. Like, that was a different guy. Yeah, he's kind of a fuckboy back there, and then he had a kid, and he's like, I'm different now, you know? He's like, I was in a fraternity. Of course I was drowning people. Like, it's people change. Anytime you had an unanswerable question at church, they always said the same thing. They'd go, that's a great question. And we can ask God that when we get to heaven. Which, like, if you were God, how pissed would you be that they were sending people up to heaven like that with a bunch of questions for you? You're God. You made everything and everyone. You probably just want to do the ta-da heaven part. And now every time someone dies, you have to do a press conference? Every time someone dies, you're like, hey, welcome to heaven. They're like, okay, but first, God, when a kid dies, right, and they didn't say the prayer and they didn't get saved, that's an automatic heaven, right, God? You wouldn't send a kid to hell, right, God? Right, God? Right, God? Right, God? And God's like, fucking... Seriously, dude, you're in heaven, bitch. Do you go to Disneyland? Like, hope all the workers get benefits. Like, shut up. You are a killjoy. Yes, the kids are in heaven. We muted the kids so we could all enjoy heaven, but yes. That's a dark one. I know, that's a dark one. I have a dark sense of humor, partially because I grew up in church. Church is a dark place. Every Sunday, you go to a big room where the underlying message is, won't it be great when we all get to be dead with Daddy? That's church. Can't wait to be dead with Dada. That's church. But I can't blame church entirely. The craziest thing that happened is my mom died of cancer. See? You almost forgot. And then my dad got remarried, and then our stepmom got cancer. She's fine, don't worry. I wouldn't do that to you twice. That's God talking to my dad. And as soon as our stepmom got it, me and my siblings were like, holy shit. Is Dad giving people cancer? We thought he was a carcinogen. We were like, don't microwave anything for him. I think that's how he's doing it. If he had taken down a second one, we would have put a warning on his Christian Mingle account. Like bare minimum, just like, hey, chemicals in here have been known to cause cancer. Ride at your own risk. I feel like some people don't believe me that she's alive. She's completely fine, you guys. She's happy, healthy, great lady. We actually call my stepmom Mom because when my dad married her, nobody was using it. So we were like, yeah, be Mom. Who cares? Oh, I'm sorry. If your principal quit and you got a new principal, they wouldn't be like, this is Lisa. Like, let her be principal. There's an opening. Also, we were so young when it happened and my dad got remarried so fast, I think he was kind of hoping he could just like Indiana Jones switch him out before anybody noticed. You know when you're a kid and your hamster dies and your parents don't want to explain death to you, so they just buy you a new one that looks the same and they're like, no, that's Connie, she just bites now. That's kind of what he did. But with moms. But I never used to talk about any of that. I never used to talk about my mom dying because I didn't want to make people uncomfortable. And also, like most of us with childhood trauma, should be pretty much everyone in here. If you're sitting here tonight going, I don't think I have any, I had great parents, I had a good childhood, and this comedy show, it's not that fun for me. Good. I hope this is the worst night of your whole life. Because it sounds like it's been smooth sailing. And you might need some perspective. But most of us did have some childhood trauma. And when you get to be an adult, you're like, whoo, made it. Never have to think about that again. Look at all my keys. The world's my oyster. And so you just start pushing all that dark stuff that happened to you as a kid down, 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 until you don't even think about it anymore. And that works for a long time. Until one day, you stub your toe really hard on a curb and you just start weeping uncontrollably in the street. And you're like, okay, this is about something else. I was keeping all my trauma in that toe. And then I jostled it and now it's everywhere. Go back in. And if you don't deal with that stuff, it's going to keep affecting you in ways you are not even conscious of. In that joke that I have trouble sleeping, DC, please, for the love of God, do not DM me articles after this show. I know you mean well, but I promise you I've read every sleep article out there. 3 ways how to sleep better. It is the same recycled tips over and over and over. Get a light lavender mist to spray on the cold side of your pillow at twilight. What am I, a witch? Make sure it's really dark and quiet in your room at night.
Oh my God, it's supposed to be dark? I'm such a dumb bitch. I've been sleeping under a disco ball because vibes. I didn't know. Okay, dark, quiet, check. Fixed!
Why not leave your cell phone in a different room at night? Why don't you put your baby outside? This is not to say that I'm against sleep advice. I'm just jaded, you know? I think I feel the way about sleep tips the way a lot of men feel about porn, where I'm like, no, I've seen all the basic stuff. Send me something weird. Now I'm going to ask this question, and let me preface this by saying it's totally okay if nobody has an answer. I ask every audience every night, it's nothing weird. If you think that you have a weird sleep tip that I've never heard of. I've read every article. I've listened to every podcast. I've seen a lot of TikToks. I ask this question to every audience every night of this tour. If you think you have a weird sleep tip that I have never, ever heard of, I would love for you to raise your hand and tell me what that is. That being said, if anybody raises their hand and goes, have you tried the Calm meditation app? I will have you removed. It's okay if no one has one. Does anyone have a weird sleep tip? Oh, we got a confident one right here. What have you got? Masturbate? Bitch, please. You think I haven't tried masturbating? I don't go to sleep, I come to sleep. Next. All right. What else we got? Thanks for playing. All right, what have we got? There's 2 things. Oh. And I do them in order. Okay. I have to do a handstand against the wall? Okay, yoga. No. This sounds like I need to be hotter for this. I can't. All right. I just want to hear the end. So you do a handstand against the wall. Yeah. Just for a couple seconds. Okay. Yeah, just easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. This is how hot people talk. They're like, just do a handstand for 10 seconds. This is no big deal. You're like, some of us are top heavy. All right. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. And then you sleep upside down. Okay, I haven't heard the handstand part, but I have heard sleep upside down because it changes the bed. Yeah. It confuses your body. Yeah, confuse yourself to sleep. Okay, that's one. I've half heard that one. Okay, so, we'll half give it to you. Anybody else think they have a weird one? Like, really weird? It's okay if nobody does. I'm just curious. Okay, who said woo? All right, do it. What do you got?
Listen to him talk.
Listen to who? Listen to the guy you're with talk? Are you trying to get left? Or are you trying to offload your partner right now? Like, this one's available if he just talks and talks and talks. You fall asleep eventually. This bit right here. Wow, okay. That was fun. We all stepped in a divorce. Wasn't that a good time? That's the first time that's happened when I asked that question. Every night of the tour, never gotten one of those. I can take this boring piece of shit home. All right, this is the last one. What do you got?
Listen to someone's random phone call in the other room. I've listened to my mom have a conversation with my grandma.
You eavesdrop on somebody's phone conversation from the other room? You've listened to your mom talk to your grandma? Did you miss the whole part where I said, I am alone? At least the last girl offered me someone. Have you tried falling asleep to the sound of people who love you in the other room? I would that I could. Okay, well, those hurt my feelings. I'm going to tell you the best one I've heard on this tour. Best one I heard on this tour was a few months ago. There was a woman in the front row. She raised her hand. She goes, I have a weird sleep tip. I said, what do you got? She goes, when I can't sleep, I lay on the floor in the kitchen for 10 minutes. And I was like, okay. And then what happens? She goes, then I get back in bed, I go sleep. This poor girl, abusive parents herself. She's like, oh, you like being called like a slut and a whore. And I'm like, oh my God. If you like being called a slut and a whore in bed, your parents loved you so much. Like, dirty talk is hot because it's shit you've never heard before. Ooh. If someone called me a whore in bed, I'd be like, excuse me? That's what my father calls me. That is a family name. Boundaries, sir. Look around. Is this sex or Thanksgiving? Read the room. I want to hear some shit in bed I've never heard. I want to hear like, hey, I set up a college fund for you. I think your arms look too thin. I really enjoyed your Netflix special. I have some daddy issues. I'm working on them. In therapy, not in my relationships, not anymore. I used to put my dad and my ex-boyfriends on the same group text and write in all caps, I don't feel pretty today. Whose fault do we think that is? Discuss. That worked so much better than it usually does. I'm worried about you guys. That one one's usually for me. Are we all right? I really like you guys. You guys are great. Death has propelled me professionally. It's made me sort of a workaholic, probably. I was doing 2 full-time jobs for the last couple of years. I was touring, doing stand-up on the weekends, and then I was hosting a late-night show called After Midnight during the week. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's very nice. Great experience. Learned so much. Worked with great people. I had an assistant on set, which I initially did not want. It is a slippery slope having someone whose whole job is to fetch you snacks, okay? Because day one, you're like, could I borrow a phone charger? Next thing you know, you're like, could I just grab a LaCroix? Before you know it, you're like, could you just hold both my hands until I fall asleep? My assistant's name was Molly. Molly was incredible. Molly was so good at her job, I'm definitely going to die alone now because the standard of care in relationships is now Molly. All right? Here's how good Molly was at her job. My first day on the Paramount lot, I drive into the lot, I park in a reserved parking spot for me, and there's a big bush that's sort of growing in to the driver's side door, right? Nothing crazy, just enough to make it kind of hard to shimmy out, right? There's a few bees buzzing around, so I kind of did one of those before I was like, hey, nice to meet you, Molly. That's all that happened. I didn't complain about the bush. I didn't report the bush to anyone. Molly just witnessed the bush touch me a little. I drive onto the lot the next day, park in my spot, and the bush was gone. And I went, Molly, did you have them cut down this bush? And she goes, yep, and I had them spray for bees. And I went, okay, no one fuck with Molly. She had that bush whacked, literally. I couldn't talk casual shit around her. I didn't know what she would do. I couldn't come in on a Tuesday like Dave's kind of bugging me today, because I'd come in Wednesday like, hey, where's Dave? He's with the bees, Taylor. You flinched in his presence, so I took care of it. It's my first time I'd ever had a corporate. Now, does anyone think they have a weird sleep tip? Super weird. Oh, wow, we got a confident hand right back. These are not good, you guys. Thank you for playing. All right, what is the last one? Stretch for 5 minutes? I'm never coming back to this city again. Therapy gets a lot better when you're single, too, because you have time to dig into things like that. When you're in a relationship, you waste half of every therapy session going over all the shit your partner won't go to therapy for. When you're single, that's an hour of you every week. It's almost too much time. You really got to start doing your homework on your days off. After my last breakup, I was coming into therapy hot every week with ideas like, hey, you know what I realized this week? The elementary school I went to growing up, across the street from a cemetery. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, I don't know, but that really seems like something, doesn't it? I bring the ingredients, you bake the cake. I'm not a doctor. I went down deep inside me, found something scary, brought it back up to you. I was so brave. Where's my treat? So brave. Favorite client. I really want to find out if I'm my therapist's favorite client. You can't just ask. They won't tell you. I've tried. The only way I can think to figure this out is to get in touch with another one of her clients. And then me and that client plan to call her over the weekend, separately, at the exact same time. Suicidal. And then we just see whose call she takes. We both want to end it. Who you want to keep here, Dr. S? And then whoever wins that face-off, we go to the next set of clients. And we just kind of do brackets, you know? Sort of like a March Sadness situation. I had a parent die really young, so my siblings and I all have really dark senses of humor, right? Like I was talking to my younger sibling, Bryn, recently, because you know how you and your siblings all remember different parts of your childhood? So sometimes you get together and you're like, all right, here's what I remember. What have you got? Okay, let's put this all out on the table and figure out what the fuck happened to us back there. So we were having a puzzle day at home. And I said, do you remember that hospice grief support group we got sent to for kids whose parents had died of cancer? And Bryn goes, oh yeah. Do you remember how not everybody's parents were dead yet? Yes, some of them still had active, I'm just saying, feels like they could have put us in different rooms, right? Maybe do a shirts and skins situation. But no, they were like Christmas present, Christmas future. Discuss. Something's coming around the mountain. You know what it is. That's not what I remembered about the group. What I remembered about the group is there was one kid in there whose parent hadn't died. His uncle had died. And, look. I don't want to be a bitch. But, like, our mom was dead. And it just kind of feels like paper covers uncle. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, this kid had parents. He wasn't Spider-Man. Like, some losses affect who you are for the rest of your life, and some are your uncle. Like, what are we? I do think when you have cool Christians love to let you know they're cool. They do. They love to, like, swear in front of you. Right? They're like, look, I understand why you have doubts. I get it. I watch the news. Shit is fucked up. Then they look at you like they did a trick on a skateboard. I have an uncle who's a pastor, and he's a really cool guy. He's very humble, down to earth. He's not like one of these mega church douchebags who wears expensive sneakers and like writes a book with his face on it. Every time I see a pastor on a book tour, I'm like, hey man, weren't you already promoting a book? Like, how many bestsellers do you need, Joel? My uncle's really cool. He's the only person in my life who understands what I do with the guy she's dating. I was like, really? She goes, yeah, would you ever have a threesome? I was like, oh my God, no. I didn't want to hang out with two other people. I've never been in the middle seat on a flight fighting for an armrest, like, wish we were all naked. That would be cool. I don't even think I could date an extrovert again. I dated an extrovert once. We moved in together. The first week we lived together, he's like, hey, what if we had some people over? I was like, look, if you don't want to be with me, just say so. You want to have people over? Over what? My dead body? If you're an extrovert and you're in love with an introvert, you gotta understand, asking us to invite people over is like asking us to do anal. Watch our face change. Like, I'm sorry, is it your birthday? Seems like a big ask for a random Tuesday. I live alone now. It's incredible. I fall asleep in the middle of the bed like a boy king, just like, good night, Joffrey. It's fantastic. I eat all the food I buy. Every grocery I buy, it goes mere, it goes bad. That's power, DC. Yeah. If I clog the toilet at home, I don't have to deal with it right away. That's freedom, DC. When I lived with a man I was attracted to, I was always like, no, please, toilet, don't tell him I'm a human woman. I beg of you. Take my dark secrets to your watery grave. Remember our bargain. Now I'm like, you loser, toilet. That's what lids are for. You want to see the sky. Do your job. I was so afraid of being single all throughout my 20s. I was terrified. I actually did get into a new relationship pretty quickly after I called off my engagement. I wasn't trying to. I really wasn't. A lot of my friends were like, you should stay single for a while. You should maybe get a cat. And I was like, hard pass. I have never left an interaction with a cat feeling better about who I was. Every cat reacts to people the way I react to seeing girls I went to middle school with in a Target. Just like... oh, no! Like, that's every cat. I don't want to come home to that energy. But I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was trying to have like a fun, sexy fling, which doesn't usually go great for me because I have this round, wholesome face that people think they should build a life with. Every time I'm like, we could bone or whatever, guys are like, no, I'm all right. But you could meet my mom. Do you want to do that? You seem like you'd be better at meeting my mom than having sex. And they are not wrong, all right? I will meet your mom all night long. Moms like me so much for no reason. I was dating a guy years ago. We were totally on the rocks having problems. And I went to lunch with his mom hoping to get some advice. And halfway through lunch, she puts her hand on my hand and goes, Taylor, my son's a lot like his father. And if I could go back in time, I don't know that I'd marry his father again. And I was like, are you saving my life in this Panera Bread right now? It was like a movie when an older character sacrifices themselves for the good of the journey. Like, she Gandalf'd me. She's like, fly, you fool! She was a bad mom and a bad wife, but such a good friend. Oh my God. Hoes before sons, am I right? I think about her every day. And my boyfriend wasn't looking for a relationship either when we met. Straight dudes usually aren't, Women are surprised when they find a guy who can make them come, and straight dudes are surprised when they find a girl who can make them feel genuine feelings in their heart. Like, women are like, he got me off 3 times, and guys are like, I just fucking like her, dude. Like... Like, we talked all day. I didn't want to hit her. It was nuts. She's just like my friend. I don't know. I want to lick her heart, I think. Straight dudes are so proud of themselves for falling in love. It's really cute. They're like, I love you. Hell yeah, buddy. I knew you could get there. Women fall in love. We're like, I love you. Fucking again, you dumb bitch. You were supposed to love you first. You keep skipping that part. It is eat, pray, then love. Oh, God, it's okay. We'll try again in a year and a half. My boyfriend is 7 years older than me because I need to get back at my dad for some stuff. Older guys are just better. They're just better. You never have to ask them to buy Pepto-Bismol. They just have it in the house. They pull it out after dinner like a nightcap. Like, you want some pink juice, baby girl? You're like, yes, they would. Cheers. Older guys don't call you things like cute or hot. They call you things like stunning, gorgeous, shit with syllables. Things that would take a 20-something guy a little while to sound out. And older guys aren't like cute or hot either. They're handsome, distinguished, like old pictures of your grandpa you shouldn't look at too long. You ever find one of those in an old dusty box? You're like, who is that? Oh, that's wrong. Okay. They're not your family in those pictures yet. They're just the past. It is a gray area. Oh, I'll get weirder. You ever see a picture of your parents when they were young and hot and you get like weirdly mad because they would have never dated you? I saw a picture of my dad in college football once. I didn't talk to him for 3 weeks. I'm like, you would have left me at a drive-in, you Danny Zuko piece of shit. He's like, what? I'm like, I can't hug you for a year and I don't want to talk about it.